Banyarwanda mwese, welcome to Afro Political Consultant and the Communication is Yassini Field Marshal Misago as usual. As you can look at me today, I'm in the military attire. I'm in the military coat, t-shirt, bulletproof. Hey, today I have come here to talk about the death of Rwandan chief spy or chief intelligence officer who few minutes ago killed in the South African hotel. Sad news. Karegeya, he's a man, a liberation fighter, a liberator who fought for the struggle, Rwandan civil war, which ended up into genocide. He's a man who was fighting to liberate his own people for democracy, human rights, and liberty among his people without discrimination, Hutu and Tutsi, including Twa. Colonel Karegeya fell into what I can call political wrangles between him and President Paul Kagame, his boss. Karegeya served in the Rwandan government, and Karegeya he served in the Ugandan government with the Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Karegeya was imprisoned in 1982 during Obote's government and was charged for treason. He was sentenced for 3 years in jail, and when he came out of power, he joined Museveni's government to liberate the country out of the yoke dictatorship. So, if you look at Karegeya today, he's a man who has liberated not only his own country, Rwanda, but also he's a liberator in Uganda, and he's a liberator in other countries because he has been a freedom fighter. But when he fell into disagreement with President Paul Kagame, of course, there is no one who can see a lion or a fox coming to eat you and you stand there. Even God does not accept that. You cannot see a lion, a fox coming to see you, just to eat you, and you remain there that God help me. You have to find your own way, and you call God while you are in exile. So Karegeya, after realizing that President Kagame, he turned into a fox and a lion, he turned into Machiavellian politics, he turned into the politics of what we can call nefarious politics. He fled the country to save his life. Let us hear this song from Lesi Wanyika, or Lesi Wanyike, one of our greatest African musicians from Kenya. Listen what Lesi Wanyike is talking about, and then think what has been happening between President Kagame and his former spy chief Karegeya, assassinated in South Africa, one of the best hotels in Santon. Listen what Lesi Wanyika he was talking about, and listen what exactly happened in Rwanda. Listen what has happened. Let us listen.
wataka kuniua bure baba, wataka kuniua bure baba. Yule si wako nami si wangu, chukia nini kati yangu mimi na wewe? Chukia nini kati yangu mimi na wewe?
You want to kill me for what? President Kagame, hasira za nini bwana? Hasira za nini President Kagame?
Wataka kuniua bure baba.
Karegeya is claiming that you wanted to kill him. Today is dead. He is no longer existing. But your family, they are there. Why are you want to kill me, Mr. Kagame? This is what Karegeya was saying. What is the problem between me and you, Your Excellency? We are listening. Hasira za nini? Unataka kuniua bure.
Wataka kuniua bure baba. Wewe una wako nyumbani na mimi nina wangu nyumbani. Chukia nini kati yangu mimi na wewe?
Maybe if we talk about Les Wanyike, let us think that Les Wanyike is the late Colonel Karegeya. As I told you that Colonel Karegeya was a chief intelligence officer in Rwanda, chief spy for the President Kagame. He worked for Mr. Kagame a longer period of time. One day Karegeya went to South Africa to watch, just to attend the South African World Cup. As head of the sports in Rwanda, it was his right to visit South Africa. Immediately he was called by President Kagame to come back in Rwanda. He was sent to jail. Karegeya fell into a serious problem with the President Paul Kagame. Politically and socially, ideologically, they were no longer into good terms. Other armed officers like Charles Kayonga had been mentioned into the allegation that these are the people who intimidated, threatened Colonel Karegeya to leave the country. Colonel Karegeya is not only the one who suffered this torture and persecution, but also his family, his wife Leah Karegeya and her daughter. You remember very well that this daughter, in fact, she was confiscated her Rwandan citizenship and passport. I repeat this. Karegeya's daughter, she was stripped of her citizenship from Rwandan citizenship, and ordered, according to Afro political consultant investigation, President Paul Kagame ordered his spies to confiscate the passport from this daughter, a Ugandan passport, trying to bar this girl not to go to South Africa to meet her father. These are the problems that I want to show you, which is in Africa, that leaders, we are still practicing primitive form of government, primitive politics. Colonial masters, the British, French, German, when they came to Africa, they described African government by then as primitive society, meaning that people, they were lacking form of writing, technology, reading, and whatever they were doing, some were despotic, dictatorship towards the tradition their fellow citizens, and they were lacking the skills of governance. So the colonial masters introduced what we call the centralized system of government and enlightenment, that it was the time democracy, human rights and governance to prosper in Africa. They did this since 1860s until recently 1962-64, when they left Africa thinking that African politics had reached a certain level of middle maturity. Rwanda, you remember that when Habyarimana was in power, RPF went into Bush War 1990. Rwigema died for his country, to liberate his country from the yoke of dictatorship. I don't want to talk about what Habyarimana did, but everyone knows that there was strong persecution of Tutsi people during his government, and then he had denied the rights of Tutsi refugees to return back home. For this reason, sons and daughters of former Rwandese, Tutsi, they went into what we call the liberation war, to fight and liberate themselves. Among these people, who were led by Major General Rwigema, Karegeya was among these young, intelligent boys who went to liberate their own country. Kagame, he was among the leaders or top senior officers of RPF, Rwandan Patriotic Front, a party, a liberation movement which he turned into his personal political party. Karegeya, Colonel Karegeya, he was given the rank and the role as chief spy, chief intelligence officer, chief intelligence officer of the Rwandan Patriotic Front for several years, until he fell into problems with his boss. He was accused of several issues, false cases, including terrorism, recently in Kigali bombs. Karegeya, he stayed in South Africa for several years or certain period of time, until recently, when he was met into the hotel and killed like Saddam Hussein. I brought this video to you today, this song from Lesi Wanyike, to remind you, Mr. President Paul Kagame, that the world is too short and life is too short. The politics of animal farm, that one man will be the leader and dominating others, Africa, we need to jump that level and go to the next level. You remember, Your Excellency President Kagame, you said very well that you came to fight for democracy, transparency in the country, and you know very well that Rwandan sons and daughters, they went to war to protect their lives, to protect the lives of Rwandese in general, without discrimination, whether Tutsi, whether Hutu. But my question, there is a lot of allegations that your government plotted the assassination of Kayumba Nyamwasha, one of the RPF generals and commander of the army, who is also in exile, and I presented the evidence that Kayumba Nyamwasha was shot recently into his finger. Kayumba Nyamwasha left the country with the Colonel Karegeya, and they formed the opposition party known as RNC, Rwandan National Congress. a party they believe that it will bring the true democracy, transparency, development and liberty to Rwandese in general. So you can see, listeners and those who watch my videos, that when these guys formed this political party and they have already left the country because of the political wrangles, they were followed by unknown insurgents. But if they were not followed by President Kagame's government, who followed them? Do they follow themselves? Who hunted them? Today I'm not happy. That's why I said that I am in the military attire and bulletproof, because I have come here to give the testimony that Karegeya was assassinated, and the evidence from the video President Kagame sent a direct message. I've said that President Kagame sending a direct message to these people that he will follow them. I have the video here. If you say, you came up to say that Yasin, I will follow you, and I got the problem, you are the first suspect. I don't want to pinpoint into President Paul Kagame that you killed Mr. Karegeya. But if there is allegations that he was assassinated, the suspect number one should be His Excellency and RPF members. Let us listen what Leslie Wanyike is claiming about. We shall come back to this issue. Listen and try to imagine what does this musician trying to say and what has happened. What was Karegeya trying to tell the world? That I left the country because President Kagame wanted to assassinate me. And the evidence is President Kagame himself claiming to follow these guys. And what has happened today? And what was the message from this song? Let us listen what our friend was trying to say. Makosa chuki ya nini nataka kuniua bole. African leaders Galanga, iwataka kuniua bole kwa nini? Reki Machela, Salva Kiir, unataka kuniua bole. Teodoro Ngwema, Central Republican Republic, Joseph Kabila Senior, he was killed for what? Afro political consultant bringing this message to you to understand that the politics of key, we should leave it. Sina makosa. Kwa nini unataka kuniua bole? Kwa nini unataka kuniua bole? Meaning that I don't have any problem. Why do you want to kill me? Why do you want to take my life? President Barack Obama in South Africa, he gave a direct message to African leaders, including President Paul Kagame was there, President Salva Kiir was there, President Museveni was there, President Nigerian president was there, a lot of African presidents were there. What did he say, Obama? Some of you, some of us, we are here. We have come to celebrate Madiba Nelson Mandela. But our political opponents, they are in exile because they don't believe in what we believe in. Because we have political differences. Some of our comrades, they are in jail because we don't believe into the same system of government, into the same political ideology. This was the message for American President Barack Obama. Where is Karegeya today? Rwanda is a country that has been into genocide recently. It was the responsibility. I'm not saying that President Kagame, he killed. I don't want to quote me, the media, but I'm saying that President Kagame, if they are suspect, his government is number one about the death of Patrick Karegeya. The suspect number one should be RPF government. Why is suspect number one? There is evidence when President Kagame himself interviewed by the journalist claiming to follow Karegeya and Nyamwasha for isolating. He used the term they isolated in democracy and transparency and the development which is taking place in the country because of their personal benefits. Accused the corruption. That's why the reason these people, they fled the country. That is statement, that is Kagame's statement, or I can say that it is understatement. It is unclear. Politically, it is ambiguous statement. President Paul Kagame to claim that Karegeya, he left the country and the Kayumba Nyamwasha because they isolated themselves from the development which is taking place in the country, it is understatement. This message is from Afro, political consultant and communications. If they left the country because of corruption charges, how do they thought of terrorizing the country with the bombs? That is understatement. That is unclear. The journalists and advisors of President Kagame, they should clear this message to claim that Kayumba Nyamwasha and Karegeya left the country, they isolated themselves from the development taking place. What about Ngabire? Umuhoza Ngabire, the president of FDU in Kingi, a political opposition party, she is in jail. Did she isolated from the political development and transparency, democracy which is taking place? She was fighting for democracy and equality, transparency. She's in jail. Ngabire said one of the statements which sent her in jail that all Hutu, there were some Hutu who were killed in the genocide. They died in the genocide. In what circumstances does these people died, Hutu, in the genocide? How many? Are they heroes? Were they murdered for innocence? Fell Hutus, Tutsi? In what circumstances? This message politically was interpreted by the enemies of democracy that she was also conspiracy to genocide. We don't want to go much more into Ngabire's detail, but I brought that as an example. There is a lot of opposition parties in Rwanda have been silenced, and some they're in exile, we know. Politically, I said that politics, the art of governance, understanding power distribution, who gets what, when, how, this is politics. Politics doesn't mean that we're going to understand each other always. We're going to have differences. People naturally are fickle. You cannot change them, and you cannot maintain their compliance in politics all the time. Never. As long as the government has gone astray, towards the population demand. They have rights to break away from the sovereign. Karegeya, he left the country when he was not satisfied with the President Kagame's government. He mentioned people like Kayonga, who followed him, who attempted to assassinate him, who put him in jail. If we look at Karegeya's problems at home and what has happened in South Africa, and by the way, what happened to General Kayumba Nyamwasha, to what extent will you convince me, Your Excellency President Kagame, that these people were not plotted by your government? We're now talking as political scientist or politician between me and President Kagame. This is a message that I am sending directly to the State House of President Kagame. I'm asking, to what extent will you convince me? How do you feel if these people were persecuted out of the country? They were shot, and South Africa, I quote South African intelligence and investigation, South African investigation department, they claimed that they found several evidences against the president of Rwandan RPF government conspiracy in the killing of former Rwandan General Kayumba Nyamwasha. And there is a video, President Kagame himself claiming to follow these generals. And President Kagame himself claiming that General Zero was in the barracks, in the military barracks. Let us listen what our musician is claiming about. I will come back about for nothing. You want to kill me for nothing. We need to think about what type of government which is in Africa. If Rwanda is a democratic government, we have General Rudashingwa is in exile. Kayumba Nyamwasha is in exile. We have Paul Sesabagina is in exile. We have people like Umuhoza Ngabire is in prison. FDU King was closed, the political party. We are in democracy. Rwanda, we have been in genocide. Afro political consultant and communication is based here in our studios in Vancouver, Colombia, Alberta, Edmonton. We are sending a message to you that Mr. President Kagame, democracy, transparency, liberty that you are talking about, there is a lot of threats in your country, lot of murder in your country, lot of political prisoners in your country. Outside, lot of opposition parties, they are in exile because of lack of transparency, lack of democracy. Kayumba Nyamwasha has been several times attempted to murder. Karegeya is already dead. Nataka kuniua bure for what? Let us go. Mr. Paul Kagame, RPF members, sina makosa. Hakuna makosa. Uko watoto wako, uko nyumbani, Love your family. Love your mother at Mohas. Love your brothers. Love your son, United States. Sina makosa. Niko na watoto wangu. Rwandan National Congress is a political party that tries to bring transparency in Rwandan democracy. FDU and Kingi, they are also fighting that there is no democracy. What they have fought for, it is totally different from what is happening in the country. I rather die as long as I'm saying the truth. No makosa. That is the message. Bye-bye. This has been Yasin Field Marshal Chiraga Misago with a president of Afro political consultant and communications. I have been talking about the death of Col.Patrick Karegeya, who was assassinated in South Africa. And in this song I was trying to show you that he warned the world that President Kagame and RPF government military officers like Kayonga, they were following him, and this is what exactly happened. And there is evidence, several evidences, President Kagame sending a direct message, threatening to kill these people, and this is what happened. But my main message that I want you, my listeners, to follow, Rwanda is a country that has been in a tragedy of genocide recently. These people, they went into bush to fight for their lives, to return back home, to stay safely. The country was turned into wicked and nefarious system of government. I will come back to you. I wish you all the best. You should pray for Rwanda, pray for President Kagame, pray for Kayumba Nyamwasha, pray for Rudashingwa, Dr. Rudashingwa. You should pray for our Theodore Rudashingwa. You should pray for Ndaishimye, spokesman for RNC. Bye-bye. Work hard. Try to speak on behalf of this organization. And I send this message to the First Lady of Rwanda, Janet Kagame, that it's always good to say the truth when you advise your husband that things are not going well, and always stand the truth. I love you. I love you all. May God bless you. Yasini, Afro Protocol Consultant.